Good morning, millennials, and welcome. Welcome back to The Toast. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. The dawn of a new week awaits us. What shall we make of this week, La Turd?
I think we should make this week our bitch.
I think we should make it our own.
Yeah, let's just sort of dive into the dog days of summer, frolic in fields, put out premium content, summer things.
A classic week here at The Toast. We have a big week,
Oh, yes,
5 days
we do.
of shows, very exciting. But then on Saturday, we are going to the great city of Atlantic. Atlantic City, we are performing Girly Swirly's Night Out live show at the Borgata Casino on Saturday. The last Jizno
we will ever jizz.
Yeah.
For the time being.
Like, seriously, there's no plans for more Jiznos. Seriously, this is the last Jizno, period.
On the books.
On the books for
Atlantic
a while.
City at the Borgata Casino, August 17th. There are a couple of tickets left. We would love to see you there. And yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got big things planned.
It's going to be a blast. We're excited to take our talents back to Atlantic City.
To our roots.
We've been on hiatus from the town. Everyone needs a break.
Yeah.
But then, you've got to get back.
Wait.
Are you going to gamble?
Yeah, is that crazy?
No, I didn't even think about the things. I keep thinking if we have free time, we'll go to the spa. But
no, I coordinated our travel. I built in a little bit of cushion time. I gotta.
Okay, before or after?
Before.
Okay, but what if you lose money and then you're gonna be sad?
Well, then I'll have a story to tell at the Jizno.
That's true. Hopefully you win big.
Hopefully. What a busy weekend, jam-packed for Jax and I. We have a couple of things. First thing I just needed to share sort of exclusively is that our husbands went to the movies last night and they saw Deadpool, which...
Of course they did, because if my husband has anything to do with it, they're going to be watching Deadpool.
Ben has never seen the Deadpool movies, but he went for the snacks. And literally he got home and we talked in bed for 15 minutes before bed about the snacks exclusively that he ate.
What did he say about the movie?
Oh, he enjoyed it.
Zach, I was sleeping when they got home, and Zach had texted me though when he was leaving the theater, and he said, quote, "Movie was unbelievable."
Yeah, Ben really enjoyed it. And he was lacking all the context. He's never seen the other Deadpool movies.
All in which that came before Deadpool 2?
Yeah, it kind of Ben just sort of fell out of a coconut tree and landed at the movie theaters.
But Deadpool has context.
Yes.
My husband knows the context.
But kind of the big story of the night was that they went to the movie theater, and in their theater, they were waiting online, and they saw Cuba Gooding Jr., and he was literally in the same theater as them. And Ben came home, he was like, I was gonna say something, but I didn't. I'm like, okay. And I was gonna be the Queen of England, and I wasn't. Thanks.
Right. That's so weird. Also, not to make it about us, but we almost went to the movies too.
We did.
That would have been too much.
It would have been too much.
If you had seen Cuba.
Well, I actually have seen Cuba only in the Hamptons. I've seen him twice.
Yeah.
Both times in the Hamptons, different years, different events, different
trips to
locations.
The Cape.
Yeah.
Different trips to the Cape.
So that was the first thing that I needed to share about the weekend. The second thing that I don't know, I'm having deja vu. Tell me if I'm repeating myself. Kind of big personal news is that Romeo's testicles have come in.
You did say that.
I did. Okay. Because, we don't wait this long to get them neutered.
You did say that.
Okay.
But we're here.
They're getting bigger, and he just keeps laying in bed with his balls.
His big brass balls.
I've never seen any of the dogs.
And his big swinging dick.
Literally, I've never seen them have balls because they all get neutered before, but because we extended our trip.
We talked about Big Pet. I said that if you were to live a quieter lifestyle, that he shouldn't need to get neutered, but because he is a social city pup, it is your civic duty to neuter him so he's not knocking up the whole town.
Okay, great. So we had this conversation.
We did.
Okay, sorry.
Also, an update from Friday, because we were in the midst of our challah journeys. Yes. Claudia and I baked beautiful challahs for our family on Friday for Shabbat, and it was so gargy-pargy. And I think this is going to be a new weekly ritual.
Yeah, no, we slayed the house down boots. It's literally not hard. Compared to what you do with sourdough and the math and the days and the proving. Challah's literally so easy.
Literally so easy. It's so crazy that I started with the hardest thing in baking, which made it really hard, but now I can do anything.
Pretty much. I can do anything.
Anything that requires yeast, you're cheating. Okay, cheater.
Oh, wow. Oh, she's looking down on the yeast community.
No, I have a lot of respect for yeast. Thank you for giving me my day back.
Do you not use yeast?
In sourdough? No, that's the point. It naturally ferments.
And is yeast bad for your gut or whatever?
It's just less... It's another ingredient. It's a little harder to digest, but you shall live, and we have been living. So
we have been living.
It's fine. But
interesting.
That's why sourdough was so great.
Yeah,
because it's no yeast.
Understood. Mm-hmm. Well, kind of another major update. Not me being at the center of a cultural moment over the weekend. Ben and I went to go see John Mulaney. I don't know John Mulaney. Do you know what I mean?
You love to say that.
Okay, thank you. Let me tell you, I learned so much. So John Mulaney, he did this like charity thing in the Hamptons. I'm not even sure what it was. Like it was the Montauk Lighthouse. And I wasn't sure like why John Mulaney was tapped for it. I thought he had like some connection to Montauk, but he came on stage and told us like he doesn't. I'm sure like some rich person in Montauk is like the head of this board and like their husband is like John's agent and he got John, whatever. So much happened at this event, let me tell you. This is kind of like an exclusive story I'm telling you. So I was there, me and Ben sat in the front row. Like I said, I don't know John Mulaney. I don't know John Mulaney. He's so hot. Like seriously, I understand like why the girlies are obsessed with him. He's literally so hot and like super talented, like amazing storyteller. His comedy isn't like my brand of comedy. I really prefer like social commentary.
You said that before too.
But he's just like a great storyteller. Okay. He has long hair now. I don't know if like the Mulaney stands know that. He's got like kind of a mullet. It's really hot. He talked a lot in his comedy set about Bethany, well, I'm going to get to Bethany Frankel. You understand why I said that. About Olivia Munn. He obviously didn't say her by name and he didn't talk about like the big elephant in the room, but he did talk about this time in his life.
What's the elephant?
Anne-Marie.
Okay,
he did talk about,
take the elephant out.
He talked about this time in his life in 2021 when he was getting a lot of social media backlash. And I was like, I know what you're talking about. But I feel like we got a real insight into his like very private life. He kept referring to her as his wife. He was wearing a wedding ring, new revelation. And he talked a lot about like Malcolm and their life as parents. He's clearly like a very involved parent because he talked a lot about like stuff that like you talk about, you know?
Yeah. So the details.
I don't think they're like offloading the kid onto like, he did say that they have a great nanny who comes in for a couple hours a day. Like, you know, he was leading with transparency. But like fun fact about him and Olivia Munn, like they're so legit. Her mom lives with them. Like that's legit.
Yeah.
And I don't know why like they're married and have a kid. Like, of course they're legit. But like there's always this like conversation about their relationship. What I learned from this comedy set, which was like largely about his family, like, oh, they're so in love. Even the way he talks about her, like so respectful, like you die, like it's amazing.
Okay.
But this kind of crazy thing happened, like that I was involved in. Okay. So there was a front row. That's where I was sitting. And there was like there was pages of paper, like, so it was like an outdoor venue. It was very Montauk at this lighthouse. And it's not a place that has like seats. It's like this big hill and then people brought blankets and then there was like probably like 50 rows of lawn chairs set up with like people, you bought tickets. And the front row was all like lawn chairs and they each had a piece of paper stuck to it with people's names on it. So I was looking for my name and I was right there in the front and then next to me was Bethany Frankel. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be sitting next to Bethany Frankel. Like, cool. She didn't come. I don't know what happened, but she wasn't there. And there was three openers, and the opener right before John Mulaney like made a comment about these two, like they were huge chairs with like big signs that said Bethany Frankel. It was Mike Birbiglia, the guy from the Antihero music video. Do you know him? He's a comedian, but for me, he's the guy from the Antihero music video. And he like made a comment, and like the whole crowd was like erupting, like, "Oh, there's empty seats, Bethany." Whatever. She didn't come for the openers. Whatever. Everybody knew John was going on at 9. John comes on, and Bethany wasn't there. She like never ended up coming. And oh my God, he like made a big comment about it at the front. Like the whole crowd went wild and he like encouraged like people from the back who like paid for seats but didn't have like seats like Bethany to come and take her seats. And they did. And like I was sitting like literally he was like, can you rip off that? He asked me, he's like, girl.
You were part of the show.
I was part of the show. He said, girl, can you rip off like she doesn't deserve it or something? He's like, good evening to everybody. Cause he was saying, how hi, welcome, good evening, good evening. Good evening to everybody except Bethany Frankel. And he asked me to rip, like, and I'm not taking sides. Like I just was doing what I was told as a member. Ripped it off and she never came. So yeah, not me kind of being like a part of the show. Yeah.
Very exciting. I wonder why she didn't come.
Yeah. It was funny. There was me and Ben were laughing. So there was like I said, 2 rows with people's names and there were a couple of names I recognized and my own included. Every single name was spelled wrong.
How was your name spelled?
Oshrey.
Classic.
Bethany was Bethany, B-E-T-H.
Definitely like the person who made the placards was like that teacher from that sketch,
yes,
like
from
Jake Wellen.
Remy Bader, Remy, R-E-M-Y. Literally every single person's name was spelled wrong.
Actually, Remy would be R-E-M-I, her correct name.
Okay, Remy, like whatever. Every person's name was spelled wrong. At first I was like, oh my
really
God.
Funny. That's comedy.
I'm like, how me? Like, of course my name is spelled wrong. But then I looked everybody's was. I was like, you know what? Thank God. It's not just me.
That is really funny.
He was amazing. I'm like kind of obsessed.
You've been obsessed. That's what like.
It's true. Every time I don't interact with him much, but when I do.
And the next time he comes across your desk, you're going to be like, I'm not a John Mulaney like girly. Yeah. Like I get it.
No, so he said he hasn't been on the road in like 2 years. And I watched his last special. That's what started this whole thing that I really
Likeability is a prison.
Likeability is a prison.
What was it called? Like Baby J.
That was the first sort of interaction I've had with him. And I feel like now the show that we saw was 90 minutes. I feel like he's working on this new set of material. So when the new special comes out, I feel like I will have seen it, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like not everything that he it was like long. I feel like he was working through some stuff, some
So
stories.
maybe it'll be changed a little bit.
Yeah.
That way you can engage and let everyone know. Let them know.
It was really good.
That's great.
And I just feel like there are people, not myself, who like sit around like wondering what John Mulaney's up to. And I feel like I can tell you now, based on his show, like he's being an amazing husband, a committed father, and like a general funny man.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him.
He had a lot of jokes about Olivia Munn. Her family like is Vietnamese. And he was like, Vietnamese people are wild. And he said he like really couldn't explain to us how wild they are without like getting, canceled. But he did end up doing like a little bit of impressions about it. Vietnamese people just ask like really absurd questions. Like, how much money did you make last year? But he obviously did it in, in an accent, which I am not going to do. It was very funny. It just made me realize like they're legit. And I know like they have a kid together. Obviously they're legit, but there's been some questions around it. So I just
but
wanted
they've
to
also
confirm.
now been through a lot at this point, like with
Right.
her sickness and, public backlash will build
Bring
you or
two people
break
together.
you, if not break you. So if you get through it, like you'll be stronger than ever. Having a child, I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, no, it was like I was really warmed. Like I just love.
So I guess like I'll move on from her and Aaron Rodgers.
Actually, when I was looking for stories today, there was weirdly a story about Aaron Rodgers and Olivia Munn. He like spoke out in defense of her. I guess like the running theory about Aaron Rodgers and his family
Is that she came between them.
She's the reason that they're not together. She, took him from her. But they've been, broken up for literally 10 years and he still doesn't talk to his family. And he came out in defense of her and was like, the reason I don't talk to my family has nothing to do with Olivia Munn. Like, leave this bitch alone. It was actually really quite magnanimous.
That is magnanimous. And it's so crazy that he mentioned that he doesn't talk to his family. Like that's the craziest
That's
thing.
Margot Oshry's Roman Empire.
And she's not wrong. Like there are two famous Rodgers brothers.
Well, they're not equally as famous.
No, I didn't say equally.
Yeah.
They're both famous.
Actually, yeah.
Jordan Rodgers is famous.
I was thinking about him and JoJo Fletcher
I
the other
just saw
day.
him on my TV.
Oh, yeah, doing home decor.
Armor commercials.
Armora?
Armor colostrum.
Oh, cool.
He's like, they used his Instagram stories.
As an ad.
And they put it like in their commercial. And I'm like, hey, that's cool. So he's famous. Aaron's famous. There are two famous brothers that do not speak to each other.
I was thinking about Joelle Fletcher the other day because I follow Becca Tilley and she posted a picture like besties. And it really got me thinking, like I could do a whole dissertation on JoJo Fletcher because I feel like her and Jordan Rodgers got so much shit when they were like at the height of their Bachelor fame for being like
Fake, phony,
but like in pursuit of fame. And people were saying she only chose him because he comes from a famous family and has a famous brother. And they got like a lot of shit. And I feel like now, of course, hindsight is 2020, but like they are one of the few remaining couples from that season. I feel like they're so in love. They're so legit. And they're not like star fuckery at all. They like make their content, they make their living, and they just, live well.
Yeah.
They're kind of like...
Everyone owes them apology is what you're saying because they were wrong.
And that's what
them.
everyone... And I feel like maybe myself included. Like I was a doubter non-believer.
I thought for sure that like after the show that it wasn't going well, but they were staying together because that's like best for them. Not that she chose him because he has a famous brother. Like he was like the most attractive, most successful, like coolest person like
on the show. Yeah.
So
except for Chase McNary, of course.
Right. She actually had some good guys, but like he was just as good as anyone. It's not like she chose this big loser because he has a famous brother.
Right.
So like you could see outside of Aaron why she would choose a man like him. I just thought they were staying together because it would be like it behooves them to be together better for like sponsorships, whatever. And then they never broke up and then they got married and like they don't even live in the continental US anymore.
Where do they live?
I think they live in Puerto Rico. So they're like
everybody's moving to Puerto Rico for the tax cuts. And let me say,
is it just for the tax cuts?
Literally. And I know the people of Puerto Rico have like a big issue with it. So I'm not going to get involved in that conversation. But let's just say people are always like, Claudia, are you going to move to Florida with your sisters? If I'm moving anywhere, it's Puerto Rico. Like I want the tax cuts too.
What kind of tax cuts?
Like you literally $0.
Interesting.
Like huge, but you like really like the locals like do not like it at all.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of a big conversation being had over there.
So they're very much on an island, literally and metaphorically.
Yeah.
And they're super strong. So
I didn't realize he lives in Puerto Rico. That's really crazy.
They do, I think. No, they do. I've like once like asked Margot. So
you once asked Margot.
Source, footnote, citation, Margot Oshry. But like look at their content. They live in Puerto Rico.
Cool. The stories today are good.
There's a lot to talk about developing from the weekend. A lot of Olympics news.
Wrapping it up.
We have a lot to wrap up.
Does anybody else feel like excited that the Olympics are over?
Yes,
okay.
I do. I do feel excited. I enjoyed my time. It was starting to peter out. Then like breakdancing happened and we were like, this needs to end immediately.
Okay, so Jackie and I were saying last night because we were watching the closing ceremony, we saw LA 28. Like I was getting really excited. It's hard, it's annoying to get excited about something that's 4 years away, but I was like, Jackie, like We literally have 4 years to make it to the Olympics, LA 28. And with the advent of breakdancing as an Olympic sport, the idea of us getting to a podium like is seriously not out of the realm of possibility. If we started today learning everything there is to learn about breakdance, by seriously next week, we could be competition ready.
Yeah, that was the craziest
and that
thing.
Australian queen who has a PhD in creative movement.
She was creatively moving, that's for sure.
She didn't get a single point. Like, if she can make it, so can we. Although I do think, like, we're not the only people with this idea now.
Yeah.
Because, like, that Australian professor or whatever the hell she is, not breakdancer, gave people the idea that you can seriously be, like, not skilled and make it to the Olympics. For a major country, Australia is, like, a major competitor, especially in the Summer
Cody
Olympics.
Simpson didn't make it. He should have done breakdancing.
Right. So you might see us LA 28 breaking it down. I'd rather see you out there shaking that thing.
But like, it really is such a shame because I feel like every time a new Olympic sport is announced, we're so excited, and it usually makes a lot of sense.
It should have been
captures
pickleball.
The zeitgeist, and that was like seriously really stupid.
Really stupid. I think it made like no stars. I think if there was seriously pickleball as an Olympic sport, like you could see like a Coco Gauff, like a tennis, you could see stars being made. And they have professional pickleball now. There's really no reason why pickleball shouldn't have been the next sport. Although I don't know how global it is. It might just be an American thing.
Yeah, but it's also similar to, it's a combination of tennis and ping pong. Like that's literally what it is.
I mean, they have badminton.
Yeah, and those are good sports to watch. So I think that would be totally fine. It's just like crazy to see like people going to the Olympics for that, and then Simone Biles, and it's like, and the two of you are Olympians.
I have the same medals. Yeah, right. No, it ain't right.
No, it's not right. So I wonder if they're going to take it away.
They should.
They should. But then what do they say? Like, we made a boo-boo? Oopsie, I made a poopsie.
And but the thing is, I'm all for new sports being introduced, so I don't want this particular scenario to hinder the next time somebody wants to bring it up at a meeting. Like, hey, should we bring in pickleball or whatever? But also, it's hard not to look at sports through the lens of your own country. Like, because for me, I see these people playing badminton. I'm like, what the hell? It's huge in other countries. So you really have to look at it from a global lens. And I don't know if pickleball has made it global yet. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what sport would be next.
Well, also, it's weird because there wasn't baseball in this Olympics.
Baseball's extremely American.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. So many of the baseball players in this country, in the MLB, like, are not American.
Right, because you can only play it in America.
But they play it in their country. They learn in their country like where they grew up.
But there's no leagues. Like, there's no professional. Literally, it's the MLB, and that's it.
I heard that is going to be there in 2028, and that Aaron Judge wants to be on the team. He just has to ask his mama, Tamara,
if it's okay. Mommy, can you take a little trip?
That's what I saw.
I mean, he's from the Orange County, so it'll be a really short commute.
But it was a New York Post subscription story, so I only got to read like the first 4 sentences.
Right? We need to have a chat with the media companies doing that. Like, I understand it's tough times, you know?
Yeah.
To be like a print publication, but seriously, like, stop.
And
we're not signing up.
Why
like,
that story?
And do you know how many like
I understand if it's like, you know, a wide-ranging think piece, a lot of research, but this was just like a write-up. Aaron Judge said, "Oh, if there's the Olympics, I want to go."
Yeah. And I just want, like, it's not working. People are finding like roundabout ways to like download it as a PDF, send it to a friend. I have a person in my life, I won't share who it is. Like, anytime there's an article that I can't reach, I send this person a link and they're able to like download and send it to me. They're kind of like a back alley, like black market rat.
Yeah.
So I'm not like your marketing techniques are not working on me.
So if there was anything beyond the fact that Olympics baseball might happen in 28 and Aaron Judge is interested, I'm not aware.
Well, I think speaking of Olympics, it's like kind of a gorgeous time to dive in. What do you think?
I think so, because there's a lot to discuss. So without further ado, here are the Fast 5 stories that you need to know.
And the Fast 5 stories that you need to know are brought to you by AG1. Making AG1 a part of your routine is really going to change your life. If you've never really paid much attention to what you put in your body, but now as you get older, maybe you become a parent, you're reading labels more, verifying that everything is up to the quality that you need, reading ingredients. AG1 is, I feel like, the perfect partner in that journey for you, because if you're looking to really get into a good routine, boost how you feel every day, more energy, better digestion, focusing on your gut, AG1 is really the perfect place to start. It's a foundational nutritional supplement that delivers daily nutrients and gut health support. It's backed by multiple research studies, and you can trust what you're putting into your body. If there ever was a spokesperson for AG1, it would be my husband. He takes it with him everywhere we go. We extended Swirly Summer, and one of the things he forgot was extra AG1. And there was like a 4-day period where he didn't have, because he forgot to order it, and then he ordered it, whatever. Oh my God, he was such a nightmare those 4 days, being like, I'm really sick. Like, and then the AG1 arrived. He's like, I'm better. He is the biggest fan of AG1. It makes my life better because obviously when I take it, I feel great, but also my husband is like off my ass. So if you feel like you need a lot of coffee to wake up, AG1 could be a great alternative for you, just like to boost your overall wellness. It's great for the microbiome. So if there's one product that we trust to support whole body health, it's AG1, and that's why we've partnered with them for so long. It's easy and satisfying to start your journey with AG1. Try and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase, but only when you go to drinkag1.com/toast. That's drinkag1.com/toast. Be sure to check it out. Today's episode is also brought to you by Thrive Market, the #1 destination for parents looking for healthy, stress-free grocery shopping for the whole family, especially during the back-to-school season. From nut-free snacks to high-protein bars and snack packs for lunch boxes, Thrive Market has you and your kids covered as you get back into the school year and your routine. Oh my, that just reminded me of that. What was that butter that you got from Thrive Market that I spilled yesterday?
Granola butter.
Jackie's like, she was making like kid snacks. She's like, got this great granola butter, nut free. Smell it, and she knows I'm like not into stuff like that. She's like, Claudia, just trust me, it's delicious. It smelled
like cookie butter, so I thought like because you thought it was gross. I'm like, no, smell it because it's not gross. It's like sweet.
And I opened it like upside down and spilled the whole thing all over the counter. Bruno was seriously licking all the furniture. It was delicious. Another Thrive Market slay. So you save time shopping as a Thrive Market member. You're saving money as well on every single order. On average, you're saving about 30% each time. They have a price match guarantee, a deals page that changes weekly. They only allow trusted top quality ingredients while restricting over 1,000 harmful ingredients like artificial flavors, high fructose corn syrup, and more. So they make it really easy for us to get our nutrition. So also they give back. So when you join Thrive Market, you're also helping a family in need with their 1-for-1 membership matching program. Save time and money and shop Thrive Market today. Go to thrivemarket.com/thetoast for 30% off your first order, plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/thetoast. Thrivemarket.com/thetoast. Whether you're a parent looking for, healthy, clean, good snacks, or just a girly who likes to snack but is becoming a little bit more conscious about what she puts in her body, Thrive Market is a fabulous place to shop. Today's episode is also brought to you by Oak Essentials. So experience the beauty of a simplified skincare routine that gives you effortless summer radiance. Oak Essentials promise is simple. They offer a moisture-rich skincare that brings the spa experience home to you, but why pay $200 for a facial when you can get one yourself at home? Oak Essential not only prioritizes clean ingredients for your skin, but also for our earth. They are your go-to for clean, luxurious skincare, but simplified. Founded in 2021 by tastemaker Jenny Kane, Oak Essentials is known for its simple approach to self-care with a lineup of skincare staples made with high-quality ingredients that drive results. Now, I'm going to tell you all about Oak Essentials, like the fabulous nature of it, but just know it has the Jenny Kane stamp of approval. And what I learned after shopping and spending many years at Jenny Kane Home, Jenny Kane Clothing, is like Jenny Kane is that girl. And she will always be that girl. And you look at Jenny Kane, you're like, oh, I want what she has. And now she's getting into skin. So it's like, thank you so much. They've got a ton of great products. I would say the most popular one is the Moisture Rich Balm. Hydration is the key to healthy, youthful, and timeless skin. And Oak Essentials Moisture Rich Balm is a nutrient-rich balm that supports collagen production and delivers serious hydration for an instant luminous glow. Also, their Dew Body Oil is a lightweight body oil that improves tone and texture for head-to-toe glow. It's truly liquid gold in a bottle, and it absorbs instantly so you can put your clothes on right away. That's a huge win because it's great to be shimmery and dewy and delicious, but then like your clothes are starting to get oily and wet. So say hello to clean spa quality skincare essentials that deliver a moisture-rich glow. Our followers are getting 15% off their first order, and only this month they're offering a free full-sized balancing mist, which is a $44 value, on every order when you use code TOAST15 at checkout. That's 15% off and a $44 gift with your first order at oakessentials.com. Promo code TOAST15. Go ahead and treat yourself. Get your best skin this summer with Oak Essentials.
Thank you, Turt.
You're welcome.
Our first story, Olympics closing ceremony recap. So last night concluded the Olympics Paris 2024, and they went out in style. Mm-hmm. So
it was better than the opening ceremony, I'll say that.
It was better in the sense that it wasn't offensive.
It was also shorter, like, thank you.
And half of it was dedicated to the future, which is LA.
Half of it, America was like, home like beer.
Like, honestly, the first half that we watched, that was France. Like, we were genuinely bored.
We were reading.
We weren't really watching.
Yeah.
Every time we looked up, they were still like miming on the clock.
Yeah. But then they tapped into, I didn't even know one of their national prides as a band, Phoenix. I didn't know they were French. They sing in English, but love that France had that. Where were they during the opening ceremony? All the athletes, you don't think about like Phoenix, like how many songs they have, but List Mania, and then that other one, like 1972 or whatever. They've got hits, and the athletes were loving it, and like the athletes deserve that moment. I think that they should have tapped Phoenix for the opening ceremony, because let's be real, nobody watches the closing ceremony for real.
Yeah. Except for us. And
yeah, of course.
It was fine. The first French half was like pretty boring. Yeah, Listomania looked fun to be there. It wasn't fun to watch.
I know, but then they did close out with a premium fireworks show. For me,
well, you're skipping over because then
yeah.
Because then like Tom Cruise came in and he was like, I'm taking this to the USA. Thanks. Au revoir.
Very
bitches.
metaphorically took that flag from France to the US.
So he jumped off the roof of the stadium, which was like one first cool thing that he did, and people were very impressed. And that is Tom Cruise's like big thing. He does his own stunts. And I actually feel like if they needed an American actor, and like acting is just so like seriously lame, like to go up against like Olympians, I think to find the one that does his stunts like makes it kind of okay.
Let me say, I was watching as a true hater
of Tom Cruise.
Hating everything. It's like, you're literally 60, go home, stop jumping off of roofs and like putting stunt actors out of work. The more I thought about it, I did understand the selection of Tom Cruise, because to me, it was like, that's who we want for national pride. I was like, he's so like demonic with his Scientology. He's like not even that like famous anymore.
Well, the demonic doesn't bother them, by the way.
So let me say this. I understand it. I don't like it, but I understand it, because when you think of, I have to stop thinking of things like through my American lens. It's like, we have Miles Teller. Tom Cruise like has been the biggest movie star on a global scale. He has these huge movies, Top Gun, Mission Impossible, and they're huge in America, but they're global. Like he goes to Japan and does. So I understand the selection, and you're right. Like, what is an actor going to do? A skit? Like, he needs to show their talent. And so his talent really is, he's not the world's best actor, but he's amazing with these stunts. So I got it. I got it.
He could make it cool. Also, I do feel like when people think of Hollywood and like, they think of Tom Cruise. Like even when we were watching the Beckham documentary, it was like when they moved to LA, they became friends with Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes. And like, that was like the pinnacle of fame.
It's true.
Okay. So it's Tom Cruise is the guy.
Yeah.
So him jumping off the stadium, like he definitely like earned his place for doing that. He got on his motorcycle, he took the flag, and then he left the stadium and it cut to like Hollywood production, like Mission Impossible style, sketched. And all of a sudden, like
the Olympics like have begun.
The Olympics have begun. So
loved the Olympic rings and the Hollywood sign. Inspired.
So gorgeous. He drove the motorcycle to some Coliseum. The Coliseum guy gave it to a female biker who ran into a guy. I didn't know who any of these people were. They gave it to a skateboarder. Then the announcer says that skateboarder was like a medalist. Okay. And then he runs to Red Hot Chili Peppers on the beach, like very much LA. It's giving Next to You in Malibu, honestly.
Okay, so what I was thinking, because I loved it, I think people from California, like there's so much more to California than the beach. There's really not. And when you think of California from like a global scale, you think of like Beverly Hills 90210 and Baywatch. And that's what they were giving. And I love that they leaned into like the really cheesy, that's what people think of. They think of like those lifeguard towers, the girls in red bathing suits in the background and all the boats going by. It was everything. Like I loved the aesthetic of it. I loved the very like cheesy Malibu spring break sort of energy, because that's what people who aren't from California or even America, that's what they think of when they think of LA. And I love that they leaned into that, not being like, we have really great museums. Like you don't.
Yeah. Or like in the cities.
Oh, please. Like the beach, that it was perfect. And I love that they leaned into it from everybody's outfits and the set and the big lifeguard stands and the red bathing suits.
And I do think that's like so summer, and that's what we'll be able to expect in the Summer Olympics. Like there's swimming, there's boat sports, that's the vibe.
Something we didn't mention, and I didn't know it at the time, the reason they chose those three artists to close out the ceremony was because they're all LA born and bred and based. So that was like an interesting, I forget that like it's about LA more than it is about America,
USA.
Which I hate,
like
by the way.
They have both flags up, the California Bear and the USA.
So the three performers, I would say they probably went in order of worst to best. I thought Red Hot Chili Peppers were, and maybe I'm just unfamiliar, I thought they were going to be like incredible, and they weren't. They were like all running around with their underwear hanging out, like covering their face. Like they looked
your undies away.
This guy was wearing like a skirt that had the slit all the way down the middle to the top of the waistline. Like it was just like penis. Like it was, and then they were just like being crazy. And they didn't sound good. Like be crazy, but if you're gonna sound good, that was like your voice sings.
Put his shirt over his head.
It was giving like seriously kindergarten recess. Like everybody was being nuts and they needed to go down for a nap. It was bad. Then they moved over to Billie Eilish, and
it was like the opposite.
Yeah, like giving nothing.
She needed some of their energy.
Yeah, no energy, but that song is so good. She sounded amazing, and I it pains me to say this, I loved it.
Yeah, this song is good.
The song is so good. And then they cut over to Snoop, who was like seriously definitely the best part. He sang 2 songs, brought out Dr. Dre, Beats by Trey. Loved it. Like seriously, I thought they covered really every genre, every generation. I like that Snoop wrapped it up because he was my favorite. And he just
he's become the face of the Paris 2024 Olympics for Americans.
No, I loved it.
I'm like, oh wow, he got over here so quickly from France.
And we also didn't say that they did the national anthem in Paris. They did the American national anthem to begin the official like passing of the torch physically and literally. And
it's all like so slow and drawn out. Like the French guy gives it to the mayor of LA who clickety clack walks over to her. Like it's like so symbolic, but like so like obvious.
Yeah. And I love the national anthem. So you really have to do it very poorly for me to dislike it. And I didn't dislike it. I don't think Her was the right choice. I actually really liked her arrangement of it. But I'm sorry, like the national anthem is a very specific song. It's a very specific voice. It's the belters, you know, it's the big voices. It's the Beyoncés. It's the Jennifer Hudsons. It's Ariana Grande has done it beautifully. It's the Demi Lovato's. It's the Lady Gaga's, people with big booming voices. And I liked her little skit-skitted like very jazzy, but that's not how I ever choose to hear the national anthem. And if you're going to do it, like it has to be perfect. And I thought some of her vocals were like not amazing. I don't like it.
She has like a nice voice, but it's not like an unreal voice. And I feel like in that moment we needed our best vocalist or one of our top 10 or top 20. And I feel like she's a great artist in a 360, you know, like the full picture
with the guitar
vibes and the, you know, but we needed just the vocals. We didn't need the 360.
Because it reminds me most recently of Chris Stapleton's, which I really liked, but I don't think I would have liked it in that scenario.
No, that wouldn't have been my choice either.
If I'm tapping you to do the national, I'm tapping you to do the national anthem. Like you don't need to bring your instruments. You're here for your voice, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, no, there are opportunities where bring your instruments. Like when Post Malone did it, like I didn't dislike it, but that's not the one I would have chosen.
Oh, I disliked it.
But that to me is like good for, you know, the MLB All-Star game.
Totally.
Have fun with it.
This is a global.
Fun, but this is like, I want textbook national anthem.
Our best and brightest. Like I want Betsy Ross up there shaking that thing. Like Beyonce's version in like most contemporary is probably what I would have chosen.
Yeah.
But it's like, we can't tap Beyonce for everything. You know, I'm always like, well, if it was Beyonce, she's busy, you know? And she says no.
We do have really strong vocalists.
We do.
So that's what I would have liked to see, but it was fine.
It was fine. It wasn't offensive and it wasn't bad. It just wasn't show-stopping.
No, and it wasn't the best of the best.
No, it wasn't.
And then I think Her gave it to Tom Cruise.
Yes. They took it to LA. They crushed.
It to LA.
Like it was giving really like the opening scene of Legally Blonde. We got more bounce in California than all your. And I love that they went for that, like, you know, neon coloring, beachy Malibu aesthetic. Teen beach movie. I loved it. I really did.
And we need more of that. And I like that is the energy. I endorse this message, except the small logo that we did see, the one that was next to Billie Eilish.
So I don't think that was the official logo.
The one that was behind Red Hot Chili Peppers had France and America as the A. That was definitely, you know, the symbolic passing of the torch. But next to Billie Eilish, there was a La 28.
I know. I don't think that's the official logo. I thought it was like very like on brand for that scene, that set she was on. I don't think that's the official La 28 logo. I think if you look at their social media, you'll see it, and it's not offensive.
Okay, I'm going to look.
I agree, because the L was like, like
no, and the A was so ugly.
I don't think that that's the official logo. And if it is, there's always time to change it. 4 years.
That's what I was going to say. Like, don't be afraid to change it. Oh, wait, there are all these different logos. Yeah. Which one is it?
Well,
this one.
No. I think it's the bottom 3.
Wait, what's this? 2020, meet LA's 30 different logos.
Oh, my God.
For,
just 2028,
make a choice. This is what I mean when I say make a choice.
I'd rather you have a bad logo than 30
Look
logos.
At this.
Oh,
Stop it. Seriously, make a choice. And when they had logo collaborators who included Billie Eilish, Reese Witherspoon, Allison Felix, and Chloe Kim.
Oh my God,
so that must have been Billie Eilish's next to her. By the way.
Let me say this. Reese Witherspoon is not sitting down on Canva. Like, this is stupid. I understand them like tapping into their LA-based resources for everything. The logo, like, go to Canva and stop.
35 different variants of the logo.
Dumb.
No single logo will become the emblem. Rather, you'll see an assortment of them play out on digital screens, analog surfaces, and official merch.
Hey, like you're not gonna have one logo for an event you're literally spending 6 years working on the branding for.
And with 8 years still to go, so this was 4 years ago, until they host the games, you can expect to see even more over time.
No, because you know what? Say what you want about Paris. They had a very clear vision. They had that girl with the bob and the same font for everything.
And the flame.
And they had it on every court, on every umbrella. And you know what? And it was fluid and it was concise and you knew, like, it was very specific. I hate this.
Yeah, this was what was next to Billie Eilish.
Hate.
Paris. And also, did they put the Eiffel Tower in their logo?
No, they just had that swirly, that round swirly. And you know what? I liked it.
This.
Yeah, the swirly.
Oh, you thought it was a woman with a bob? I thought it was a flame.
No, it's a woman with a bob. It's like confirmed a woman with a bob.
But do you see the flame?
No. It's a woman with a bob. Are you okay?
Oh my God, I saw a flame the whole time.
No, she's so Parisian.
Wait, okay. The logo for Paris 2024 combines 3 separate symbols. The gold medal.
Yeah, okay. A swirly.
The flame.
No, it's
and
not.
Marianne, the personification of the French Republic.
Seriously, nobody saw flame except for you.
Wait, but it's here on Olympics.com. There's flame. Houston, we have flame. I never saw Marianne. What does that mean about my brain? It's giving Laurel Yanny.
No, it's giving therapy. Ink blots.
Rorschach.
Is that
the Rorschach test? Yeah.
Ink blots.
I saw flame.
That's like my favorite thing to do with the clouds. So Ben and I were out to dinner. We went to like Gurney's for an outdoor beachfront dinner, and there was like gorgeous clouds. And it's my favorite game to play. He like didn't like it. I was like, "What do you see in that cloud?" And he was like, "Can you shut up?" And I was like, "Wait, you don't like this game?"
Maybe
I love that
because your
game.
name is Claudia.
Yeah. You don't like that game? Well, you hate games and joy and fun. So
I hate games, and yeah, that doesn't sound like one I would like.
Yeah, I like it.
So, LA 2024, lot 28.
28.
LA 2028.
We have other Olympics news, right? About Jordan Chiles.
Major Olympics news for our next story. Simone, Biles, Suni Lee, and more are reacting after Jordan Chiles has lost her Olympic bronze medal. So the International Olympic Committee has taken away Jordan Chiles's bronze medal after, she had put in the inquiry, her team put in the inquiry.
If you watched her get the medal, you know it was a crazy way to get it.
It was for cock to begin with. And they said that the inquiry was put in more than 60 seconds after the end of the judging, which you can only do it for 1 minute, and that they were over that 1 minute, so they have to take away the points that they added to her, which would mean that Jordan Chiles does not get the bronze, and instead that girl from Romania who originally got the bronze now gets the bronze back.
If they accepted the appeal 65 seconds after, like if that rule was a rule, like you didn't know it.
Yeah.
You didn't know it.
No, the fact that you can take medals back, and in history, the only time medals have been taken back is for drugging or cheating.
Right.
And so you can take it back you could take it back for like human error on your part is so unacceptable. And then also, if they are retroactively like judging and calculating scores, then they do have to go back in and do that for that Romanian girl. Because I think if we're gonna like now watch instant replay and tell everyone and have all the time in the world,
not judge in the moment,
have days to even out the scores, then that girl from Romania who got points ticked off for her foot being out of bounds, not the girl who now gets bronze. I think she came in 4th or 5th. Her foot was not out of bounds after all. She should get those points back. And actually, then she would be 3rd place.
To retroactively like start looking at scores is actually a really dangerous, slippery slope. And that's why they have never done it before. Now, the American USA Gymnastics, they're appealing and maybe they'll win or whatever.
And the American USA Gymnastics is saying it was 47 seconds after. So they're saying what you're saying that we did
is not even true.
Is not even true.
Now, I stand with Jordan Chiles. I want to say, and I'm sure she's like having a horrible day, and maybe this will make her feel better. I feel like low-key, like, let's say they strip her of it. Like, who cares? Let me say this.
Like, you had the moment and the anthem and the pictures.
You got the moment. You got the pictures. You got the anthem. You got to walk around Paris. Like, no one's talking about the Olympics anymore. Like, it's over. But in that moment, you got to walk around Paris, like, being that girl. It's a bronze medal. You have other gold ones. And now I know this is an individual, and that's what makes it different. But, like, the history books, like, nobody cares. We'll say, like, Jordan Chiles, gold medalist. Like, of all the ones to lose, it's not right, and it's wrong, and it's infuriating, and I'm sure USA will do everything. We're the most litigious country in the nation for a reason, and like this is what we do.
Most litigious country in the nation.
But like I'm just trying to put a positive spin on a negative situation. Like whatever, like you had the moment. Like the Romanian girl did it. Like who wants this ugly medal now? I didn't even get to celebrate in the moment.
No, like could things be worse for her? She had it taken away from her like live on television. Didn't get that.
By the way, and then that clip will live forever. Her like holding the flag behind Jordan Chiles and then like turning around and saying
and if she does now get the medal, like everyone's going to hate her.
Yeah.
It just like she can't win, literally.
Yeah. So they should just, and it's wrong. Like
it is wrong. And I do think it's a bigger conversation and needs to be a referendum on gymnastics judging because it's problematic.
I mean, it's literally giving stick it.
Yeah.
It's giving bra strap. They highlighted.
And the thing that they missed about Jordan that they were getting was
her difficulty.
Yeah. Like get it together.
Agreed. It's really unacceptable. And that's why I think movies like Stick It are so integral for like getting the issues out there.
And by the way, like feel free to take a beat when you're doing the scores. Like I know it's annoying to watch, but we watch it later anyway. You could cut through the, like maybe we need instant replay.
Yeah. Or maybe like everybody does their performances and the scores come out 10 minutes later. Like they don't have to, it doesn't have to go performance, score, performance, score.
But do you think that leaves more room for corruption? Like,
yes, actually. Yeah.
because then they can just like start doing
making
whatever.
shit up.
They can like start doing charts.
No, Jordan Chiles, and I feel like now that I've watched so much Olympics and like followed all the girls on social media, what I know about Jordan is like out of the bunch, like she's the big personality, really positive. I think she charges up a lot of the girls. She's like always kind of like a beacon of light, you know? And for it to happen to anyone is terrible, but for it to happen to the girl who's like really the team positivity cheerleader, like it's wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah. And I do think on the small scale, like you said, it's over a minute. They're saying it's 47 seconds, like get it together.
Right. Which one was it? Like it's clear.
On the larger scale, if we're correcting scores, you better go back to the Romanian heel.
Yeah, the Romanian heel.
Justice for that heel.
Justice for Jordan Chiles. This is wrong. And hashtag I stand with Jordan.
Yeah. And like, let's just not be going back.
Right.
It's just a bad precedent. And then everybody is going back.
Now, from a physical standpoint, the medal is in Jordan's possession. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's powerful because, you know, possession is 9/10 the law.
I think catch me if you can.
Right. Do you think that they make a new one for that swirly or like literally the physical one that's in Jordan's home?
Well, I had seen someone say like, given all of this and the back and forth, like they should tie for third.
No.
And, you know, Romanian heel should, in my view, get it too. And I know I'm not like a participation tie. Like I don't go for that. In this situation, like I wouldn't mind that if they all now get bronze medals.
That's the opposite of the Olympics. The Olympics is truly a meritocracy. Like who
I know, but
was
the
better?
thing is, at this rate, like they're all incredible. Like I'm fine with giving them a medal.
Yeah.
Because they've earned it.
But I don't think they could just willy-nilly give out medals. Like there are a finite amount of medals to give out.
But people do tie sometimes.
They do. I don't know. It's wrong.
It's a mess. Of their own making.
Yes.
So I don't know where they go from here, but it's wrong.
It's wrong.
Are you ready for our next story?
Mm-hmm.
No more Olympics. Anything more to say?
No, I'm like really over it.
Did you see that the LA Olympics will only be accessible via public transportation?
I did see that. And we were just having that conversation about Simone Biles taking like a sweaty bus to her big gold medal championship and how wrong that is. And, you know, that's so LA, you know?
Yeah, like you can't get like an Uber drop off. I guess it's like weird to think about where you can park your car. Like, is there a parking lot at the Olympics?
No, but everyone's showing up on their own accord. That's not an option either. Like for traffic, gas guzzling, like I get it. For organization, they close so many roads. But like these like underfunded buses, like they definitely don't have air conditioning. LA public transit is not like, you know, when you think of London, the tube, like, okay. The LA public transit system is nothing to be like marveled at.
Yeah. Well, maybe they're going to work on it and then they can't wait to show you what they've
maybe,
done with the place.
Yeah. With like electric. Yeah, maybe.
And like a train.
Yeah,
they probably have a train.
They do have trains in LA, like subway.
Who do you think should direct the opener?
Kenny Ortega.
Totally. But also,
did we say who it was? Is it John Chu? What was he directing?
No, I think we were just joking around. And we were talking about who was directing Billie Eilish, Snoop, and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh.
Like, they haven't said who's directing the La 28 Open.
No, like honestly, like somebody like La La Land.
It should be the beginning of La La Land. Who did
La La
I mean, it
Land?
was Pasek and Paul.
With the music. But who was the director?
I feel like an iconic name. Oh, Damien Chazelle. So, no, I didn't know that.
No. Okay.
Yeah, someone like that.
Who directed Hairspray? You know, somebody like big, choreographed, like outdoor. Yeah, no, seriously.
Well, the original one was John Waters, but then Adam Shankman, he directs everything. Claudia, he's like Kenny Ortega for the older set.
Put him in, coach.
He's our guy. Also, speaking of Pasek and Paul, did you see that Greatest Showman?
Yes,
is being adapted into a musical, like hopefully making its way to Broadway.
I mean, how do you adapt a musical into a musical? But it's making its way to Broadway.
Stage.
Yeah, love.
So Adam Shankman did Hairspray, Rock of Ages, A Walk to Remember, The Pacifier.
Okay, these are all great movies, but
Wedding
they're not
Planner.
all great musical, theatrical.
Step Up. That's the energy we need.
No, he's not the right guy for it. I spoke too soon.
The Last Song.
No, he's not the right guy for it. I'm sorry.
He's All That. Addison Rae.
No. Oh, I would love to work with an Adam Shankman. Cast me in your next film, but I don't think he's right for this particular project.
Miley Cyrus, When I Look at You music video.
Oh, okay. He's right. No kidding.
I'm saying like Hocus Pocus 2.
That's a great segue into the next story, right?
It wasn't our next story.
Oh, okay.
And it's not going to be our next story.
Oh,
Because
wow,
our
okay.
next story is going to be, another step in the ongoing conversation of the It Ends With Us.
And I want to say something because I do have thoughts and I'm going to share them, but I just want to update everyone. Like I have lost a little bit of my like
zeal.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you chose this story.
Well, because it's the first time we've gotten like an actual story about what. So all of this up until this point has been speculation on Reddit, on TikTok. There hasn't been any major media like news. And then Daily Mail on Friday, right, of course, after the toast, came out with an article that they know what happened and this is what happened between
based
everyone.
on insiders. So it's still not.
Right.
Like
but
they
it's the
could have
first
just
legitimate-ish.
They could have seen that everybody is very interested in this and just made some shit up.
They could have.
Because they're like literally saying it's insider, so it's not even a concrete source. But they're saying the disturbing truth behind why Blake Lively and her It Ends With Us stars are feuding with Justin Baldoni. So Daily Mail says Justin Baldoni was chauvinistic and borderline abusive on the set of It Ends With Us and sparked fury over his refusal to consider the perspective of co-star Blake Lively's character while filming scenes that depicted abuse, insiders have claimed. Rumors of a vicious feud between Justin and Blake have been swirling for weeks, with online sleuths highlighting how the on-screen love interests were not pictured together at the U.S. premiere, while some cast members have been blatantly swerving questions about him. Now, insiders have revealed the concerning truth about the tensions, telling DailyMail.com that Blake and Justin clashed over his, quote, dismissive attitude to her input while they were filming scenes that involved abuse. The movie, which hits theaters today, is based off of Colleen Hoover's hit novel It Ends With Us. The insider claimed that Justin only focused on what he believed was the abusive male viewpoint and had a very chauvinistic approach to the topic. Quote, during scenes depicting abuse, Justin failed to consider Blake's character's perspective, instead focusing solely on what he believed was the abusive male viewpoint. His approach was very chauvinistic, creating a tense atmosphere on set. The source claimed Justin was borderline abusive on set and said he almost became the character.
Okay, that's crazy.
The drama.
I also saw that there was a big issue about Blake felt really uncomfortable because Justin was making her uncomfortable about her postpartum body. That was like another part of the story that to me was the more shocking. Now, after all is said and done, I do feel like I've decided I'm Team Blake.
You have? That's shocking.
Oh, yeah, no, I was like leaving space.
Were you?
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
But I don't know. I just think you can explain away a lot of things, but you really can't explain away why everybody on the cast seems to be not liking Justin, not interacting with Justin at the premiere, on social media. Because if it was just like a Blake versus Justin thing, like we could argue and two sides to every story. But if everybody else, if it's like 10 people against one person, like it's like that Yiddish phrase. If two people say you're dead, roll over. Like, I don't know, you seem like the toxic one. I don't think you're like the victim if everybody dislikes you. Like you're the problem to me. And I just find so much of the social media response to this so interesting because what people love about Justin Baldoni and his fans, like he has women fans. Like that's why he is he's popular, because fans either loved him in Jane the Virgin, which is like a girly show, or they love like his whole, man enough, anti, toxic masculinity. So his fans, he's a man who's propped up by women. He's a man who is where he is because of women. And his fans are taking his side because they believe him to be like a pro-woman kind of man. Meanwhile, all these women who have interacted with him directly are really indicating otherwise. So it's like you love him so much because you think he's good to women, but then there's this experience where all these women left with a bad taste in their mouth, but you're still taking his side. Like, It kind of doesn't make sense to me. And also what's really interesting is that, remember when there were all those pictures coming out of Blake on the set? Like this was a movie that was really, the set was out in public because they filmed in real life, and it was highly photographed. And now people are posting videos they had taken of like Blake. They didn't think anything nefarious was going on, but now all these videos are going viral, being like, oh my God, I actually saw them. And it's like it's Blake and Justin, like clearly they're not like fighting or, talking strongly.
Like the hug thing where
there's
like
a couple of those, the hug thing. And then this one just got posted, someone sitting inside of a restaurant filming through a window. They're obviously disagreeing about something, not violently and not big, but like she's clearly so annoyed with him. She's like rolling her eyes. And at first, like if you just had that video, you wouldn't think much of it. But now,
or you would think that that was the scene because they fight.
Well, they're not being filmed. Like they're clearly having like a conversation, a real one.
Okay, they could have been practicing.
Yeah, of course. So you wouldn't think anything of it at the time. But now knowing what we know, we're looking through, you know, all these pieces of media with like a little bit more of a critical eye.
Yeah. I am Team Blake. Like this guy, I mean, if everybody's on one side, like I think at this point, like we don't need to explain like why this guy is just like not for us and hasn't been for the entire week. However, I have issues with this article. I think it's like they're trying to jump on this train of the drama. I don't think that they know anything. I think that saying that he became his character
is crazy.
Like calm down. I think that it is like this to me like confirms a bit of what we had said last week where like he came in, he's the director, big man on campus, but this is a woman's story from a woman's point of view. We don't have Ryle chapters, like it's all Lily. So like it doesn't make complete sense that he's directing it but he's the one who like got the book and brought it to life. So like it is his thing, but like in certain situations, like he should take a back seat. And it is about Lily's point of view, and it's not about like the male point of view. So I think that like there were creative differences,
but by the way,
as creative differences arise, and I think the way that he handled those moments where like he was being overshadowed or corrected and he was wrong is why people don't like him.
So funny that you say that because in his press, I think it was on the Today Show or whatever, he said like there were so many scenes, especially like the more disturbing ones, that he took a back seat and let the women tell the story. But you see this footage of like him arguing and like being very in charge and bossy, and it doesn't seem like that was the case. And I think maybe a lot of the women don't feel that that's the case.
I think he took a back seat and the women became in charge of the story. Like, and that's not what he had
against
wanted.
His will.
Yeah. But that's the fact of what happened.
By the way, now that people have seen the movie, the new rhetoric, because seriously, like social media is taking Justin's side. And that's because women love Justin Baldoni and they can't see him as anything other than this great guy. And this is a movie for women. Like the people having this conversation, it's all women. And the new sort of...
like if you asked our husbands what's going on, they'd say, what's that?
Literally. The new sort of line is that the movie's come out and so many people came to the movies having no idea that it's a story about domestic violence. And that's because Blake Lively has been so tacky in her promotion of it. So not serious. And Justin's the one who's really using his platform to talk about this issue. And, you know, Blake's just putting on pretty dresses and promoting her hair care line. And I feel like people who are getting in this conversation right now are really pissing me off. Cause like this book, I read this book like years ago. I had no idea. Colleen Hoover is like a smutty romance girl. I sat down ready to read like a cute romance. It actually is a romance novel. It is a smut novel. And it is also a novel that talks about like all these things can be true at once. And I sat down and read the book, and I actually think the book was so good because I had no idea. Yeah. And that's, by the way, that's what happens in an abusive relationship. It's going so great. You think this is, and then your whole world is shattered because this thing happens.
The book was so impactful for people because like it is, and Blake Lively described this really well. And she said the movie does it well too, where it's like, not only do you not see it coming, but even when it happens, you start to question if that's what actually happened. Like, and you start to make excuses. And like Ryle says, I don't want to spoil anything, but like you see how she like stays longer and like tries to like, you know, work through it. That's the whole point
of the book. It's that like, it's supposed to answer the question, like, why did you stay?
Right. And it's not so like black and white as you would expect in a situation like that.
And from an entertainment perspective, I think going to the movie not knowing that makes the movie better.
Right.
And two, it's actually...
And this is why there's ratings, right? Like, what's this movie rated?
Right.
Probably R.
Right.
So if you're not over 17, you shouldn't see this movie.
Yeah.
And if it's not rated R, it should be.
So I just think like maybe people going in and not knowing that it's about domestic violence, like A, isn't Blake's fault, and B, isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think that's how somebody experiences an abusive relationship. You don't go into a relationship thinking you're going to get hurt.
Right.
But that's what happens. And so it actually is like a reflective of the actual like emotional arc of going through that. Like people are seriously looking for any excuse to blame Ryan. Like now there's, by the way, the running theory is also that he's a scab. Did you see that?
Who is?
So the script was written before the SAG-AFTRA strike.
Comes back to SAG-AFTRA.
Blake has now shared that like there were scenes that Ryan wrote and people did the timeline, and it appears as like perhaps he was like, you know, jotting some things down during the strike, making him a scab. Now, I don't know if it makes you a scab to like work on art. I think submitting it would make you a scab. But I don't know if any of this to be true, but it's like, seriously, I think people are stretching a lot of, it's crazy because I feel like for so long, people have been obsessed with Blake and Ryan to a point where I didn't even understand the obsession. I'm like, what's so great about them?
From my POV, which is definitely at a distance, I'm not like so far down the hole like you are. I've not seen anyone taking Justin Baldoni's side.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's all Blake and Ryan. Like, Justin Baldoni is, like, outside her.
Oh, no.
Like,
Blake and Ryan steamrolled. They are powerful, money hungry. They put money in. They wanted to steal creative direction. Scab. And Justin's a poor victim who just wants to support women.
It all comes back to SAG-AFTRA, as it should.
But of course.
As it should. Are you ready for our next story? Fourth story.
Is it the fourth story that is perchance brought to you by Like a Good Neighbor, State Farm is there.
It is.
Thank you, State Farm, for sponsoring today's episode. State Farm is everything. They're there with the coverage that you need for your car, for your home, even boats, motorcycles, RVs, other things of that nature, things in which that matter to you. So with the State Farm agent, you know someone is there to help you choose the coverage that you need. And with so many coverage options, it feels really good knowing that you can find what fits for you. It can be overwhelming, especially if you're like new to the home owning or car owning, phase of your life. You're like, where to begin? You begin with a good neighbor, State Farm. When you need ways to get help, State Farm also gives you options there too. So maybe you're like me, a technology swirly, loves to do everything on their phone. Click, clack, boom, chicka-lack. With State Farm, you can get help on statefarm.com or on their award-winning app. But perhaps you're like Jax. You live a little bit slower. You like to handle things in person or on the phone with a local agent. That's what we love about State Farm. No matter what kind of toaster you are, State Farm lets you do things your way. So when you need help protecting the things that matter most to you, remember to sing it like Jax or like Claude.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Like Jackie said, in case you didn't hear her, because she wasn't as powerful and as booming as me. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Speak softly and carry a big stick is all I have to say.
Thank you, State Farm, for everything that you do for the Swirlies and for sponsoring today's episode. Today's episode is also brought to you by a very important brand. It's LaCroix Sparkling Water. In introducing LaCroix Sparkling Water, are you looking for refreshing, flavorful, and sparkling beverage without the guilt? Well, look no further. I think there's also a lot of sort of conversations being had about the pronunciation. And don't get it twisted. It's LaCroix.
It's not LaCroix?
No. And it's not LaCroix Bierman either. It's LaCroix.
I thought it was LaCroix.
You didn't think oh, by the way, that's because like you live with me and I'm like a LaCroix ambassador, but a lot of people don't know that. So that's,
and what do they say?
You're just kind of learning things here at the Toast that you...
What do they say? It's French.
Some people think LaCroix. LaCroix. No, it's LaCroix.
No, LaCroix. You're overthinking it,
so,
LaCroix.
And if you need a little tip, just think of, the late, great Croix Bierman.
Yeah.
That's how I remembered it.
LaCroix, yeah.
It's zero guilt, zero compromises.
LaCroix 2028.
LaCroix is all about 0 calories, 0 sweeteners, and 0 sodium. Enjoy the fizz and the flavor, but without the guilt or the compromising of your health. They offer so many flavors. You can discover a world of taste with LaCroix's 22 exciting flavors, from classic favorites like lemon and lime to the newest additions like strawberry peach, mojito, and cherry blossom. There's a flavor for everyone. Now, you know me, I'm very set in my ways, very, not into change. Lemon and lime is where it's at. For me, it's like tried and true and classic for a reason. But every time I am discovered and like open to a new LaCroix flavor, like it doesn't miss. That pamplemousse, at first I was like, no, that's not for me. Now, like I'm out here pumping that mousse, LaCroix is all about unique flavor, good health, and love. So LaCroix Sparkling Water is available nationwide, and you can find a list of retailers at LaCroixWater.com. Join the LaCroix community on social media at LaCroix Water to share your favorite flavors and connect with other LaCroix enthusiasts.
Thank you, La Turd, for LaCroix.
You're welcome.
Our next story, Stassi Schroeder is coming back to TV in multiple ways. So first, Stassi Says is a new docu-comedy series starring Stassi Schroeder in the works at Hulu. She is set to set her own rules with Stassi Says. The Vanderpump Rules alum is making her reality TV return with a new half-hour docu-comedy series in the works at Hulu. Stassi Says was created by Stassi and former Vanderpump Rules producers Aaron Foy and Jenna Rosenfeld, and will be executive produced by Scout Productions. So the description of the series is endlessly relatable, utterly hysterical, and questionably sane. Stassi is the anchor of a fresh ensemble of comedic and chaotic characters who are dealing with identity crises and major life crossroads of their own. And Stassi's the one who has to keep them all afloat. So it sounds like a little reality show about
Stassi's world.
And then also she has signed up to reunite with her former boss Lisa Vanderpump for Vanderpump Villa season 2 as part of her development pact at Hulu.
Genius.
She will travel to Vanderpump's European estate as one of the show's lead cast members. Vanderpump Villa follows Vanderpump as she curates a chateau in the south of France and welcomes guests to check in for a luxurious experience.
Let me say this was really brilliantly done. I think a lot of people have been waiting for Stassi to come back to reality TV. I think she really didn't want to come back to Bravo.
Or to Vanderpump Rules or to the like.
Yeah, no, I think the whole experience of getting fired was like probably traumatic, and at the time felt like, you know, the end of her world. And, you know, seeing what happened, yes, Scandival was great for the show, but it wouldn't have really been about Stassi. And I think seeing how a lot of the cast members have fared, and then the Valley, like, it's great, but Stassi's always been like a little bit elevated from her castmates in terms of like her brand, the brand that she, and the lifestyle that she's really created for herself. And I think a lot of what goes down on the Valley and Vanderpump Rules, while it's really entertaining, is a little bit incongruous with who Stassi is right now. So people have always asked her, like, are you going to come back to Vanderpump Rules? Are you going to come back to Bravo? And she has maintained no.
Yeah.
And she loves to watch it and she's a fan, but I don't think it's really ever been right for her. But she is a person who is deeply at her core entertaining. And that's why people have always loved her. Even when she was monstrous, you know, moving to New York, Patrick, people have loved her. She has been the favorite from the show. She has the most social media following, the biggest podcast, the biggest book. Like, everybody does their projects, but nobody has been at the level that Stassi has done it. Even, you know, after getting fired, she is still the most famous person on that show without being on TV. Her podcast is huge. Her Patreon is huge. Her book has like huge following. She's on her third book. So she's really been like a girl you can't keep down. And I think a lot of people knew she was going to return to reality TV, but not in the way that we thought she would.
I didn't expect that she would. I don't know why. And I feel like what's so awesome is she's always said like she wouldn't go back to Vanderpump Rules, because I do think at that point like it would totally be a step backwards and like, you know, being like free from that world. Then you are able to see like, that's not what I want for myself. You know, she wouldn't be on the Valley. She shared her thoughts on the Valley when she was on the Toast. And I think it was always something that like if she went back to TV, she would want to be a part of it, like on the back end.
Yep.
And like here, it is her own show. She is an executive producer.
No,
like,
and it's on Hulu. Like that's
it's whatever she wants it to be. And like to have that control, especially after being on an ensemble cast that's like, you know, let's get everyone as crazy as possible. Like, I think this is the only way she would ever come back. And the fact that she set the table for herself, that it is exactly that way, like kudos to her. For brilliant.
Sure. But then you also have to think about it from like a branding perspective, because there is something about reality TV that's inherently lowbrow, right? It's looked down upon, not by me, but by, you know, society. And it's like a reality TV star has a bit of a stereotype to it. And so for her to come back with like this development deal on Hulu, like the same network as the Kardashians reality show and the D'Amelio reality show, like this is so elevated. And I feel like she has spent the time since leaving Vanderpump Rules really elevating everything about her life. This just kind of is like the final nail in the whole, I don't want to say coffin because it's a good thing, but it's actually really brilliant. And then you look at it from like a PR perspective, and she really is this sort of like classy, elevated Hulu, you know, documentarian, as opposed to like
also
reality
being
star.
like intrinsically a great reality star.
Yeah, that's the thing. And for me, I always felt like she would come back to reality TV because she's born to do it.
Yeah.
She is a star in her own right. And we've been, you know, the fans have been supplemented with the podcast and the Instagram, but it's not enough, you know, for the Stassi fans.
Yeah. And then I think the Vanderpump Villa collab is also great. I'm glad to see that she's on good terms with Lisa. She is in Europe right now, and she's been there for a while, and I guess she's filming.
So is she like a guest? Like kind of how like I don't know.
I feel like she might be like working at the villa, or maybe Lisa's liaison. Like I feel like she has a role.
No way would she be working at the villa.
Working like high level. Like
I feel like her and her family would stay as guests. Isn't that what the show's about? Like, you know, fancy people come and very Downton Abbey.
Is it fancy people come?
I mean, it's staying at a villa in the south of France. Yeah.
I feel like based on the video she put out with Lisa, it looked like they were like collaborators.
Yes, it did, but that would make no sense. Like, I feel like her being a guest over like a 2-3 episode
What if she was like
arc?
in charge of, I don't know, design or like marketing, you know?
Like maybe, but that's not interesting. It's more interesting, like her and Beau and Hartford and like whatever crew they want to roll to, the Taylors, like come and stay for a weekend. They have to plan like, you know, a VIP stay for Stassi and her crew.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good idea, like kind of how they do on Below Deck.
Yeah, like so it would be like a one episode.
No, but even Below Deck, like people stay depending on their charter for like 3 episodes.
Well, she's one of the show's lead cast members.
The entire time?
These are the sentences. She has also signed up to reunite with her former boss, Lisa Vanderpump, for Vanderpump Villa Season 2 as part of her development pack at Hulu. The Stassi podcast host will travel to Vanderpump's European estate as one of the show's lead cast members.
That makes no sense. I have questions.
Okay. And then my other question is for Stassi Says, like, you know, her cast and her world, like the Taylors?
I mean, who, like... Stassi has a lot of people in her life, like recurring characters. Lo, I feel like is always, if you watch Stassi stories, you like know her. The kids are such stars. Like it's fabulous.
I feel like the Taylors that would be in the mix.
I mean, I would love to see them.
Yeah, I would love to see them too. And maybe like one Vanderpump who she's actually friends with, like Lala. I just want Lala.
Oh yeah, you have to think
I
about
think
then
just,
like
like,
building
one.
a bridge back.
Yeah, like, but it would have to be someone that she's actually, I don't think, and especially
Organic.
this is her show, she's not just going to bring people on, but I do feel like she still has good friends
Yeah.
from the show. Mostly Lala.
Like the moms too.
I don't feel like she's super close with Katie anymore.
Yeah.
Or Kristen or
Yeah.
Sheena.
I don't think she is.
She never was, or Ariana.
Right.
It could only be Lala.
Mm-hmm.
I would like that.
I thought this was like a brilliant announcement, a brilliant everything.
Yeah. Agreed.
Kudos.
Agreed. Are you ready for our fifth and final story?
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus tears up while being named the youngest Disney legend.
When I watched her whole speech this morning, like seriously, I was like almost like dead ass. If I was doing my makeup, if I wasn't, I would have cried.
So we had reported a few weeks ago because she had done an interview where she was talking about becoming a Disney legend, but the ceremony was last night and she made history as the youngest person ever to be named a Disney legend, an honor bestowed on individuals who have significantly influenced the company. Standing on stage ahead of her speech at the D23 event in Anaheim, she teared up as the audience roared with applause for her. She detailed that she wrote 2 speeches, one long for the badass I'm supposed to be and one short, if I get scared, before she recalled the beginnings of Hannah Montana in 2005 when she joked she definitely wasn't created in a lab as a Disney kid.
She gave really good insight into how the show got off the ground. I think some people know this, but she auditioned for the show. They loved her, but she was too young. And so they moved on without her. I believe it was Ashley Tisdale or Allison Stoner, someone who got cast, and then a year later, like they filmed the pilot, it was like flopping, it wasn't testing well, and then Miley was a year older, so they went back to her and they were like, will you come back? We actually liked you, and it's not working out the way. And that's how she ended up as Hannah Montana. She also said like before the show premiered, they had to have like concert footage of Hannah being this big star, but nobody knew who Hannah Montana was in the real world, so they gave out like hundreds of free tickets in this random mall. They set this like fake show up in this mall and Hannah's singing, nobody knows the words, she's singing This Is Life, and she's just like singing for these people. And she was like, the second I went to LA, my mom told me I would have to like leave school, leave Franklin, Tennessee, which I loved, to move to LA, and I had to be really sure that I wanted this. And she went on the soundstage and she just became obsessed, and it was like her life's mission to get this role, and she was so happy to be Hannah Montana. Like it was all she ever wanted, and she loved every minute of it. It was exactly what you wanted to hear from somebody about a show that influenced you so heavily. Like Jackie and I, seriously, like we are 90% Hannah Montana.
I am 90% Hannah, 10% Miley.
She got so emotional. She said, in that moment, I was so proud for every episode that we filmed. I was so proud to be Hannah Montana. Even before it took off, like I just was so proud that I got it and I wanted to make it so good. And then when it blew up and it had the impact that it did, she was so proud of it. And now she's so proud of it. Like, it's exactly what you want to hear. There's so many people who like have an impact in what they do as kids, and then they grow up and like hate it.
I don't think the show would have been as successful as it was if she hadn't felt that way.
Yeah.
Like, so I think it's like congruous with the success of the show and why we loved watching it. Like if she was like half-hearted or she thought Hannah was a joke, like whatever, it would have translated and we wouldn't have fallen in love with both Hannah and Miley the way that we did. So I'm so glad that like to hear this and that is the truth. But there was something so special about it that could only have been created by someone who absolutely loved Hannah.
Yeah. And I just think like she was emotional. Like I was feeling emotional. I think like, and she acknowledged it was like a few years where she felt like, she was a little crazy, and she breezed past it, but she acknowledged it. And I think to see someone who you idolized so much as a kid, and now I feel like we're having like a Miley renaissance and she's still at the top of her game. It was really just like a beautiful at a glance moment, if you will. And I just love that and I didn't realize, and she said this, 2005 when the show was being made or the auditions had started was around the same time like Disney had made this big sort of gesture to totally turn around the company. That's when they hired Bob Iger. And like weirdly, Hannah Montana and Bob Iger were like this duo to put the Disney Channel, like, the best foot forward. It was like this new time at the network. And I didn't realize that Hannah Montana obviously was huge for us, but it was huge for Disney too. They like really needed this win. And that's why they worked so hard on casting and they spent years. And that's why when Miley at first wasn't young enough and then she was, it was really this like huge effort by the company. And that's why it was so big. It's been obviously other reasons too, but like Disney put their whole pussy behind it. Like,
yeah, it makes you wonder why they don't do that. Again, I feel like actually Descendants, they have The Rise of Red, which just came out. Margot said it's amazing, but I do feel like the Disney Channel is not doing what it did 20 years ago.
No, I also think like the media landscape changes. Like for us, like what was on TV at the time was everything. Like it was the center of our universes. now, and I think a lot of kids still watch Disney Channel, but I don't think with the rise of TikTok and social media, I don't think it's the center of their entertainment universe. And I think Disney's probably shifting like how they put stuff out.
Yeah.
I think. And I think like their parks, like they have so, when you think about how big Disney is, like Hulu, Stassi.
Yeah.
Hulu, ESPN, ABC, like there are so many different parts of the Disney brand that I feel like for so long, like it was really like the Disney Channel. Now it's a million things.
Yeah. Yeah. So there were other honorees at the event as well. But as we said, she's the youngest to ever be named a Disney legend. She said it's the highest honor our company. Well, Bob Iger said it's the highest honor our company can bestow on anyone, reserved for those whose talent and achievement have earned them an enduring place in our history. The 14 individuals to be honored as Disney legends this year have each made extraordinary creative contributions across the worlds of Disney, and we look forward to celebrating them at D23. I just want to say, like, why didn't she get it sooner?
Well, you know, I think like winning Grammys like puts you in another. Because I was thinking that too. Like she's obviously really early, but it's also like a little late.
Yeah.
I think like, you know, the year that she had, she's always been famous after Disney and after Hannah. But I think this past year, like such an impact on the music industry, like global artists, global streaming, breaking records, winning Grammys, like it puts you on another level. And I think it makes you eligible for things like this.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah. Also, it is the whole Disney universe, as you said, which is like ABC.
Right. It's not just
Hulu.
our universe.
So, like, you know who else got with it?
Who? Kenny Ortega?
Kelly Ripa.
Oh, good for her. She's deserving. She works hard.
Yeah. For
Except that time
ABC.
she like, took a whole week off because she was mad at Michael Strahan. That seriously is like, that's my Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Like she was mad at Michael Strahan, got a
That is
promotion.
a network as well.
Whatever. I just want to say, because I want to round out this story, like if like a message to Miley, like I love that she is so proud of that time. I love that she loves Hannah. I love that she doesn't get tired of like the comparisons. She wore blonde hair and she had a little bit of a bang, like as a nod. The show meant so much to so many people, us included, really shaped a young generation of women. So to see her love it so much brings such joy, makes me so happy. So many things get ruined, you know, as time moves on. She is just as committed to preserving the integrity of Hannah as we are. I love her.
We're very committed.
We are
to
so
preserving.
committed. I love her for it. Seriously, like watching it, you should watch it. It was beautiful. It was emotional. She looked gorgeous. She was, you know, concise and she just was great. You love to see your heroes as a kid, like grow into the women that you hope for them to be. Yeah. And that's exactly what Miley did. Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's really great. And I think it's a good lesson for people. Like you don't have to like shun the younger you that like you don't, that you're not anymore. Like we know that you can grow up and do it, but like to respect that thing that meant so much to so many people and to you too. It's really, really lovely. And I mean, everything about our show is so Miley Hannah coded. Like
no, we would
are
not
who
be,
we literally like in some way, like we would not be doing the toast if Hannah Montana was not, because we wouldn't be the people that we are.
It's true. No, the show had such a profound impact on us musically, aesthetically. We were fucking obsessed. Because it was so good.
It is so good.
Oh yeah, I've rewatched it as an adult. It stands the test of time.
No, it's literally amazing.
It's the movie, like, oh my God, we were there Thursday night, midnight. And we weren't kids who got to do that. Like,
no.
The first concert we ever went to was Hannah Montana, Miley, Best of Both Worlds at the Nassau Coliseum. Like we were really obsessed.
Yeah, with good reason. We were children of taste.
Children of taste, and she was a good role model. And she's a good role model now. And she's been through a lot and there were crazy periods. But she came out on the other side, this like mature, fabulous person. And you love to see it.
I know I used to be crazy. I know I used to be fun. You say I used to be wild. I say I used to be young.
I love that song.
Facts.
So congrats.
Congrats to Miley and the legends.
And congrats to everybody for making it through another fabulous episode of The Toast. I apologize that it's over. That sucks. Like I'll acknowledge. But it was a nice long one.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, and every day after that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to The Toast on Monday Morning Show, where we deliver the fast stories you need to know every Monday through Friday on YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please feel free to subscribing this video, thumbs up. We're also available as a podcast anywhere podcasts can be found. So it's Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Public Video, iHeartRadio, Castbox, all the places where you listen to podcasts. Find us The Toast, leave a 5-star review about how beautiful, about how stunning, about how wickedly talented we are.
Love ya. Bye.